Hi, I'm Mary Crowley, and this is Zing. May I please spend some time with you? I would like that. Yes, I'd like that. Would you like that too? I hope so. I hope you'll stay with us. Right up here, we have a letter, a word, a number. The letter is G. G. Give. Gift. Go. G. At this time of year, many people give gifts. Now, you don't have to give things. You can give in a different kind of way. You can smile. You can listen. You can be kind and nice. There are many, many ways to give. Up here is the color red. That's the color for this month. You'll see it everywhere if you start to notice. Just walk around downtown or in the place where you go. It's a preschool or a school. Look around. Wherever you go, you'll see red. At this time of year, we want something bright and cheerful. And it goes nicely with green, and we have lots of green. The number is 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. 1 teddy bear. 2 Santa. 3 teddy bear. Dee Bort is going to tell you the story of the shoemaker and the elves.
Hi, I'm Miss Dee, and I'm here to tell you a story today. This is one of my favorite stories, and it's a very old one. It's called The Shoemaker and the Elves. Once upon a time, there was a shoemaker, and he lived above his shop with his wife. Now, the shoemaker was a very hard worker, and he made very fine shoes. But the day came when he only had enough leather left for one more pair of shoes. The shoemaker used that leather, the last leather he had, to make the finest pair of shoes he could think of. He was tired at the end of the day, and he left the leather out. He didn't have time to make the shoes. He left the leather out to be sewn and stitched for the next day. So he went upstairs with his wife and to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker came downstairs, and what do you think he saw? What a surprise he had, because the leather, which he had cut out the night before, had been sewn into new shoes. The shoes were beautiful, finely made, and he put them in the window, hoping that someone would come by and buy them. And you know what? Someone did. A gentleman, a very fine gentleman, came by. He saw the shoes in the window, and he snapped them right up. And he paid a good price for them, too. He gave the shoemaker enough money to buy leather enough for 2 new pairs of shoes. The shoemaker worked that day cutting out the leather for the pairs of shoes he would sew and stitch the next day. At the end of the day, he went back upstairs to take his rest. In the morning, the shoemaker and his wife came downstairs to find, what do you think? 2 beautiful pairs of shoes. They were so surprised, and they put the shoes in the window and waited to see if anyone would come by and buy them. And you know what? People did come by and buy them. They were beautiful, and they paid a very nice price. So again, the shoemaker was able to buy leather enough for more shoes, this time for 4 pairs of shoes. The shoemaker cut out the leather again, just as he did the night before, and in the next morning, again, there were shoes. This happened day after day until finally the shoemaker's wife said, "Who do you think is doing this? We need to find out. I say we stay up tonight and we watch to see who comes. The shoemaker thought that was a great idea. So at the end of the day, instead of going upstairs to bed, they hid behind a curtain in the shop. And they waited, and they waited, and they waited. They were just about to give up and go upstairs to bed when the door flew open and in danced the cutest, smallest little elves you ever saw. They danced onto the table and they looked at the leather and they started right away to work. They stitched and they sewed all through the night until the shoes were done. Oh my. And then they danced out the door. Wow. The next day, the shoemaker's wife said to him, "Do you remember how thin the clothes were that those little elves had on? And they didn't have any shoes. They must be freezing. It's winter." "I know what we should do. We should sew some clothes and make some shoes for those little elves. And it could be a way to say thank you to them. I think that's what we should do." The shoemaker agreed, and they spent the day and most of the evening sewing and stitching clothes and shoes for the two little elves. And at the end of it, they laid them all out on the table. And where do you think they went? Not upstairs to bed. They hid behind that curtain to watch and see what would happen. They didn't have long to wait this night. The door flew open, and in danced the two little elves, and they hopped up on the workbench, expecting to find leather there. But no, they found new clothes and new shoes. What a wonderful surprise. They danced around and sang and put on their brand new clothes and danced and sang some more. And then they hopped off the table, and out the door they went. Now the shoemaker and his wife never saw the elves again. But they were very thankful and very grateful for the help the elves had given them. And they were very glad to have had a way to be kind back to the elves. They were never poor again, and they lived happily ever after. The end. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a nice holiday.
Thank you so much, Dee. That was wonderful. Kathy Archer will recite "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutter, threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and he shouted and called them by name. On Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up on the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney came St. Nicholas with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all covered with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up in a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying a finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down on the thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Thank you, Kathy. That was so full of energy. It was just great fun to listen to it. You will also see a picture done by Ian Crowley, son of Chris and Jalinda Crowley, and brother of Margaret Crowley. Why, here are the puppets, Connie and Jack.
Connie, it's so good to see you again. I always enjoy talking to you. Connie, do you know what month it is? No. It's December. December is the month when people celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. I hate Christmas. Connie, why do you hate Christmas? Christmas is stupid. Kids are supposed to get gifts and presents, and all we get at my house is socks and maybe some leftover Halloween candy.
Connie, do you know what's coming? Do you know what's coming, Connie? Christmas, Santa Claus, presents. Oh boy, I am so excited. What's the matter, Connie? You don't look so excited.
Jack, I hate Christmas. Mommy says we don't have enough money for presents, and I don't see my daddy because my mommy and daddy are divorced. And Mommy says she has to work on Christmas, so I have to go to the babysitters. I don't want Christmas to come.
You have to go to the babysitters for Christmas? And no Christmas tree? No presents?
Yes,
Oh, Connie.
I don't like Christmas at all.
My mommy says when something doesn't go the way I want it to, that I am disappointed. Do you think, Connie, that maybe you are disappointed when you don't get all those things for Christmas? Your mommy's not there, your daddy's not there, and no presents? Are you disappointed? Is that why you hate Christmas?
Yes, I think I am disappointed because I don't have a fun Christmas like yours.
Oh, wait a minute. I got an idea. Connie, my mommy always gives me a party at Christmas time. What if you come to my party? Would you come to my Christmas party? There are presents and ice cream and cake, and then you wouldn't be so disappointed.
But yes, okay, I'll come to your
come?
party.
Connie, you come?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Mommy, Connie's coming to my Christmas party.
Oh, Connie, wasn't that nice of Jack to invite you to his party?
Sometimes when we tell our parents or our friends how we're feeling, then they can help us.
I guess so. Mary, have you ever been disappointed?
Connie, I have been disappointed many times.
Well, tell me about one.
Well, certainly. A few weeks ago, I was going to go see my friend Jean. we draw and paint together. But she had a bad cold, and she said not to come. Oh, well, did you continue to be disappointed? Well, no. I asked her if I could come after her cold was over, and she said yes. So I went to her house, and we used watercolor paint, and we had a great time together. And I wasn't disappointed anymore. I think you are going to have a great time at Jack's party. Don't forget to say please and thank you. Okay. It's been good to talk. Bye-bye. Remember, sometimes you have to tell somebody how you're feeling. Connie and Jack made that clear, I think. Rabbi Kaya, who is the leader of the Jewish synagogue, is going to tell you about the menorah and the season of light in the darkness.
Hi, my name is Rabbi Kaya Stern-Kaufman, and I am the rabbi at the Rutland Jewish Center. As you have probably noticed, it's coming into wintertime and the light is getting shorter and shorter, which means that you can't play outdoors after supper time like you might have done in the summertime. In fact, you're probably finding that by the time you're sitting down to eat dinner, it's totally dark outside. This is the time of year when we, the Jewish people, celebrate the festival of Hanukkah. And that is the time when we light our menorah in the evening time. Hanukkah is a time in which we grow light. We bring more and more light into our homes because it's so very dark on the outside. You know, each of us is like a candle. We have light to share with our friends and with our families. When we share love and when we share kindness with one another, then we are adding more light into the world. In fact, we're actually growing the light inside of another person when you do something kind for them. When we share our toys, or when we give someone a hug, give someone a kiss, then we are spreading light and lighting up that person. You know, with one candle, one little candle, we can light so many other candles. So each night of Hanukkah, as we celebrate this festival of lights, we begin by lighting one candle on the first night. And on the second night, we light 2 candles. And on the third night of Hanukkah, we light 3 candles. And by the end of 8 nights, we light the entire menorah, all 8 candles. And we start with this one in the middle. This is called the shamash. And this is the helper candle. This is the light that will light all the others. And so this is the one that's kind of like you and kind of like me. Because as I said, we have the ability to light up other people with our deeds of love and of kindness. So now I'm going to light the Hanukkah menorah with you, and I'm going to sing 3 special blessings. The first blessing is the blessing that thanks God for giving us this beautiful ritual of lighting candles in the wintertime. The second blessing is a blessing that speaks about miracles, because in many ways, just the whole idea that one person or one small light can light up the whole world and create light in the middle of darkness, that's a miracle. So we celebrate that miracle of light in the darkness. And then the third blessing that I'll sing tonight is the blessing that thanks God for giving me life, for giving all of us life, and for allowing us to come to this very special moment of Hanukkah to celebrate together. So we begin by lighting the helper candle right here in the center. And the blessings begin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Now the second blessing for miracles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim hahem, ba'azman hazeh. And the third blessing, thanking us for life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Our Jewish practice is that we always say the blessing before we do the sacred act. So we bless the act and then we do it. And this candle's having a hard time lighting. But we'll borrow some flame from that candle, see if we can get it lit. There it goes. Sometimes it's hard to get a light going. Sometimes it's hard to shift into joy after one's been a little bit sad. But you know what? If we try hard enough, we can get that light lit. And with one candle, one flame, I can light many, many, many flames. Wishing you all a very happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Rabbi Kaya. You touched my heart. The Grace Church Children's Choir will sing Away in a Manger. The director is the Minister of Music, Alistair Stout. What fun! The minister of Grace Church, John Weatherhog, is now going to read the story of Christmas from the Bible.
Hi, boys and girls. I'm here to talk to you about the birth story of the baby Jesus. It's found here in the Bible in Luke's Gospel, chapter 2. I'm going to read it for you right now. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. That was the first registration that was taken while Quirinius was the governor of Syria. All went to their own hometowns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in bands of cloth and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. Now in that region there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. For to you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace among those whom God favors." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, and the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which the Lord has made known to us." And so they went with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger. And when they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these things in her heart. And the shepherds returned home, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told them. That's the story of how baby Jesus was born in a wonderful place called Bethlehem, Judea. Won't you think about that this Christmas season? May God bless you. Have a wonderful time. And Merry Christmas.
Not only did John read, he also brought out certain figures that make it clear who is in the story. Thank you, John. Up here I have a picture of my children when they were little. I have gifts wrapped. I have lights because it is light in the season of darkness. Many people have greens with red. And this is a painting by my friend Karen Seward. Just gifts. All right. Going to draw a circle. A perfect circle? No. Don't think you have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just try stuff. All right? Out of this, I am going to make what's called my schema. It's kind of a big word, schema, but I like it. A schema is something that you do over and over again. And children draw, and when they draw, they don't judge themselves. If they make some lines where they don't want them, they go over it. And it's play. It's not trying to make the perfect drawing. All right? Now, up at the top, here is a bow. And you can make a bow in many different ways. And you can go over lines that you already have down. There are no rules when it comes to drawing. Just don't hurt anybody. And of course, there are people who don't want a mess. But sometimes if you're going to be an artist, you have to make a bit of a mess because you want things handy like markers and crayons or whatever it is you're doing. So I'll put some berries on here. I have a holly bush at home. So I have a number of berries this year. Not as many as I'd like, but still, I have holly berries. And I could put more color in here, but I don't have time. So I guess I won't do that. I think I'll go over these lines. You don't have to make one line. Remember that. Sometimes children think they have to make things perfect and they have only one line and that's it. That isn't true. All right, and I always use my initials, MRC, and that's it. And so we're almost through. I want you to tell you before I leave that you are wonderful. You are special. There's nobody else like you in the whole world. So don't let anybody say anything unkind to you. Be sure that you stand up for yourself. Be sure that you are kind to other people. I hope that you give this season, that you give a smile, that you listen, that you are kind. But always remember that you are wonderful, you are special. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.